What's going on, everybody? Christian Hernandez is here with Sports Video Group. We're back on the pitch, and we're back with a familiar face back in the city of brotherly love, my former stomping grounds. We are pleased to be joined by Carl Mandell. He's the Senior Director of Broadcast and Entertainment, almost said equipment, entertainment for Philadelphia Union. Carl, what's going on, man? How's the season so far?
What's up, Christian? It's been a great season so far. Team's doing well on the field and in the control room. So it's been a fun year so far.
Awesome. We're going to talk about what you handle. We can't really talk much about what's going on the pitch because you unfortunately don't have the pull when it comes to that, unless you're going to put on the boots. But we'll stick
the lights off and then make sure that they miss a penalty kick every once in a while. So
listen, no one says that you can't do that. It may be a little bit fishy, but if you did that, I'm sure that the squad will love it. We'll stick to your expertise. It's been a wild year, and we'll get into kind of how your team grew, but you guys were in the MLS Back Tournament, as were a bunch of other teams. But just give me a quick download of the activity that you've had over the past year, because HDR board, watch parties, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but we're finally getting to sit down and do something on this. So tell me about the details of those kind of things that you did.
Yeah, wild year last year. I mean, here we turn around March. We're slated to open up our new control room, our new video boards. We're getting ready for the home opener, and 3 days prior, the whole world shuts down and we're sitting at home. So our integrators leave and go home. Everything is like half done. People are canceling their flights, and we're like, okay, we don't really know what's going to happen. Luckily, we got the project worked on. Otherwise, if this would have been for 2020 going to 2021, maybe the project wouldn't have happened. So luckily, it happened when it did. Then they had the MLS Is Back Tournament. They announced that sports is starting to pick back up again. We have to kind of pivot from our stadium show. We're trying to figure out who's going down to Disney World. How are we going to work on that whole production workflow, figuring out how to access our servers back at home. So that was a whole process. And we worked with the whole tiering, which all the other leagues were doing. And then through the guidelines of our state, we were allowed to have gatherings of 50 people. And so our upper management said, you know what, we're going to put people in our building. Like, we just changed stadium names from Town Energy Stadium to Subaru Park. So Subaru was very invested in our building, and we needed to show off our stadium and show off our new products that we put in the building. So we had pods on the field, and we had groups. We had 50 people spread out over the course of our field. And for us, having just built this control room, a new video board, it was an opportunity. We built our intro video, we built a bunch of graphics, we had stat packages and everything. And we said, you know what, through our very, very small crew, we're going to treat this as if the team's playing on the field at home. So we put a delayed feed out on the board so that we knew what was going on inside the control room, so we can cheat the goals and everything like that. They didn't know that. But it gave us an opportunity to kind of just run through the motions. I treated it as if it was a sold out building. So, everything from our back of house tunnel club, the lights and the music that's going on there, even though there was nobody there, and everything that we're doing on our boards and the way our PA treated, even putting out our warm up music, because we were getting live shots from Orlando to show the guys warming up on the field, and our PA announcer would announce the guys taking the field, and we would roll back some video. I wanted to keep it as normal as possible, because fast forward to this year, we're pretty much back at a full building. And because we practiced all those good habits last year, it's muscle memory at this point. We're not saying like, what are we supposed to be doing?
Right.
This, that. It's like, no, we've been practicing it all last year. We made our mistakes with the smaller crew. Everybody's figuring out the control room and what needs to go. And as we started to add more crew and get back to a full show, it's been, it's come fast forward this year when we had our home opener and we had our full crew. Literally, it was a seamless show. Our integrators were like, wow, like, it looks like you guys have been in this room for 2-3 years now. Mm-hmm. And it was a credit for what we did last year and practicing all those good habits. So we did that last year. It was good practice for us. The team came back after the tournament. We had, I think it was 9 home games. Throughout the rest of the season. 9, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we went undefeated throughout the whole home campaign or the regular season. We won the Supporter Shield. The team did excellent on the field. It was a historic season for our team. We'd never won a trophy prior to last year. So it was great to just not only have the board and really cater to the players. We had, again, we had 50 people here and there in our stadium watching these games. In the last 4 games of the year, we had, I think, 2,000 people scattered around the building.
Right.
It was great to put on a little show for them and treat it like it was a real. So I was doing PA reads and everything. Even though there was nobody in the building, it was lighter. But again, I wanted to practice good habits, and I wanted to make sure that our room with the smaller crew that we had was able to kind of make sure that they were doing the regular business. And then we won a supporter shield. Unfortunately, the playoff run wasn't great, but we were able to do a playoff game and again added 2 cameras to our show. So a smaller crew, but it was great for coming into this year. We all felt comfortable. We tested out a lot of the kinks. We knew exactly what needed to happen. And then come fast forward this year, and we were ready to go. And it's been a good year so far.
One thing you did forget that you mentioned before we started the call was the fake crowd noise. That's an interesting story because your manager wasn't a huge fan of that. So can you explain how that process went with the team and you guys?
So I did talk about that before we started recording. A couple things that are really cool with that. All the leagues were doing some sort of fake crowd noise. In MLS, they gave us the option that you could either play it in the bowl, play directly on the broadcast, or play it in both areas. And so what we did was we played it for our coach during a training session. And he goes, you know what? I don't feel the need to yell over these speakers. I need to talk to my players. So just cut it. I don't need it. So we didn't play it in the bowl. We played on the broadcast only. However, the unique thing that we did that I don't know of anybody else actually doing this. So maybe you'll have to do some research on this and find out. We did a baseline audio track of just our room tone crowd sound that played out of the truck. Okay. All of our supporters' chants and emotional sound effects. So cheers, boos, claps after a goal. We actually had one of our fans who was in our supporters group sit up in a booth by himself, and we gave him just that audio track. Yeah. And as he felt he needed to react, he would hit the buttons, and then our guys in the truck were managing the audio levels. So if he felt like he wanted to let the refs know, he would hit the button. If he felt like he wanted to do a couple of different chants, we gave him a whole soundboard. So it was really the fans controlling the sound effects for the chants for our game. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing that I didn't see many people doing. But no sound. It was dead silent in the stadium.
And listen, I think this is interview around like 70 with all the teams in all professional leagues. I think that's the first time I've ever heard a fan sitting in a booth by himself, getting the chance to actually dictate what I think you're right. I'll say it, you probably were the first team to ever do that in terms of having authentic fan. He got to call the shots because I don't think anyone was even allowed to be in the stadium. So I'll go out.
I was listening in the control room and I gave him the headset and I said, lay off the booze a little bit,
Right.
He did a good job.
In terms of this year, Carl, what are you guys playing the elements wise with the crowd back at Subaru Park? So video board elements, activations for fans, sponsorship elements, all that good stuff.
It's been a crawl, walk, run process. So I wouldn't say that we're right back to where we left off in 2019. I think right now the fans are just excited to be in the building, and I think we're excited to have those fans. And the nice thing about us having the new boards and not showcasing it to a lot of people last year is this is going to be very new for everybody walking in. So we don't need to go ahead and just say, okay, we need to go back and do all these crazy things and reinvent our show now that there's fans in. I think people are just excited to see the large images that we have on our boards and all the data and information that we're displaying. So as far as that stuff goes, a lot of the same as usual. We didn't feel that we needed to change too many things up because we had a lot of plans last year that we didn't get to implement because there were no fans in the building. So as far as that's concerned, business as usual from last year. The nice thing is that, like I said previously, we didn't have a full crew. So just being able to staff out all of our cameras, put our cameras in the nets, do some of that stuff to really showcase the HDR aspect of our control room, because we were taking a lot of frame syncs from the truck. So we were up converting a lot of SDR cameras for our board. And now we're getting to showcase the true HDR aspects of our board and what the cameras can do and the colors that come associated with it. And I think that in itself is special, because I think I find myself not even watching the field and staring at our video board half the time because the colors are so mesmerizing. So that's fun. You know, we had a nice supporter shield celebration. We unveiled a new banner and some pyro and some things like that. As the season, most of our games are backloaded. Our home games are backloaded in August and September. We're going to come back and get our alumni nights and get some more game presentational elements to be determined based off of the COVID restrictions. So I don't know exactly what all those things are going to be, but as restrictions, it seems like every week things are changing. As those restrictions change, I'm sure our game presentation will become more and more each week.
Along the lines of just execution and getting the job done, how far do you think your team has come and improved over this entire 365-day span?
I think we again, coming into a new room, it was the best case scenario for us.
Yeah.
I mean, most people go into control rooms or brand new stadiums, and the build happens, and maybe you get 2 or 3 weeks and boom, you're in your new control room or you're in your new stadium and you're kind of learning on the fly. We had a year of trial and error. And so, our TD, our graphics people, our engineers, just learning, going from analog building to digital, just learning our workflows. And honestly, we do a lot of integration because I oversee the broadcast side as well. We have a lot of integration with our local broadcast. And so our in-stadium camera guys are on dual tallies. Their cameras are being taken for broadcast, and being able to integrate all of our comms between the truck, our replay operator is talking to the replay operator down in the truck, and having that full integration and everything that we mapped out in the off season. If we didn't have that practice last year and understood what we had, we wouldn't be set up for success this year. And really, it was just the addition of camera operators and some more technical positions this year to get us ready to go. So last year was instrumental to success that we had this year, because we were able to try a lot of things and really learn and get things corrected in the off season for the start of this year. Okay,
so this last question could be an extension of that same question, but shout out to your team members. Do you want to drop any names, or do you just want to go generic on me here?
Nah, I'll drop out Sumner Gillum. He's our motion graphics person. He also has been instrumental in working with our folks at Ross, just kind of programming all of our boards. He's really just taken it under his wing. Our engineers have been fantastic, just working through the new workflows, training our camera operators on what the proper workflow is just for all of our new cameras and policies and procedures, and working with our broadcast, making sure that that's all baxed out, that core group is instrumental in everything that we've done. I know I'm there and I'm making sure that we're having a great, excellent show, but those guys are putting in all the hard work behind the scenes.
Okay. Well, the players are in form right now. Your team seems to be keeping good form. So continue that great run of play, I guess, if we're going to talk about it in soccer terms. Keep up the great work, Carl. It's always great catching up. And hopefully I will get down to Philly, because that's my second home, say hello, and catch a match with you.
I hope so. I'm gonna find out on Instagram where you're at, and then I'm gonna come bring you down to the stadium myself.
Thanks, man.